And welcome back to the table, everyone. It's been a while. Work has had me on an evening shift, if you will, so I haven't had as much time to pop in here and film gameplays, things like that. And then I got another week where I'll be in an evening, so I thought I'd get this fit in and then fit in something when I can. It's just a matter of, balancing life, home, work, all that stuff. But I really wanted to share this because I just got this in. This is issue 13. I have not looked at it yet, so you're looking at this for the first time with me. So I'm very, very excited to show you that. So if I can get this out of here without, this thing sits in there tight. So we've got, come on, plastic bag. Alright, who knew I would struggle with that? Alright, let me set some of the paperwork aside for a moment. So this is the primary reason that you get this is for the magazine itself. I love it. We've got a lot of articles in here. There's the attached game that we'll take a look at. What's in here? Battle Away. That's our big promoted item here. This is the same system as Battle of Ramadi, but now it's going to Vietnam. So I am very excited to check that out. So here's the map. This is probably exactly the same size as Battle of Ramadi. Just, now you've got Vietnam era. So that's cool. Well, we'll look at that here in a moment. Then let's take a look at the issue. So this was from November 2019. Several articles there. Platoon Commander Deluxe, look at that. Pavlov's House, 1066, Tears to Many Mothers, Dice and Cards at the Battle of Hastings. Oh, that's interesting. Always find something new. Oh, look. Coming to Kickstarter, spring of 2020. Yes, this is, a lot of people have asked, is this like, how based on the Battle of Kursk rules is this? I'd say that was the birth of this system, but Mark has added in a whole lot of extra stuff. Helicopters, missiles, thermal imaging type things that he says it's almost its own system. So you're going to find a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of new things in here that it's going to play a lot different. So very excited to hear more about that when it comes to the Kickstarter. Okay, you've got your editor intro. So that's our zone of control. Then the contents. Yeah, so there's a featured Stalingrad solo games. Cool. So we got article for the last 100 yards, Platoon Commander Kursk, Stalingrad solo games, Horse and Musket, the fantasy trip, the 1066 Tear to Many Mothers, General Quarters 3, Battlefield Ops, MacArthur's War, Devils to Pay designer notes. Awesome, which has turned out to be a very, very popular game. So it's always interesting to see designer notes and what Herm was thinking on that. Reviewing, revising A Better Night of Man, then 65 Way, Dark War Intel Scenario, Tough Nut to Crack. These are scenarios, so you've got some stuff for, as you can see there, Night of Man, Way. So let's see what you get. So, okay, then the game. Complete Wargamer, the explosion of professional wargaming. I will say this, it's very interesting, side comment, not to the magazine. When I first started into wargaming, my first Avalon Hill game was MBT, and this is back when I was in high school. And then when I joined the Army, I didn't do any gaming at all through my military career. When I went to school, it was all computer games. So when I finally got back into things like that, it felt like it was a dying type of industry. It didn't seem all that popular, but my golly, now it's like every year people are pumping out so many thematically based games that it feels like it's an exploding type of thing. It's not like Milton Bradley, where you're selling millions of copies of a game, but it feels like it's definitely has come back, But anyway, that was just a side thought I had reading that. So last 100 yards, the tactical gaming gets something really new. As possible, I've heard a lot of good things about Last 100 Yards. It's definitely a game that I would like to get and play. Um, because I've heard it's got a lot of interesting mechanics. I got in on the beta testing, and I was able to test it for about a week or so. Then I had to drop out for family things that were going on, and I never really had a chance to dig into it. I was just dealing with infantry, but it did seem like a very, very interesting system. So I definitely want to give that a try. Let's see. Oh, there's actually quite a huge article on Last 100 Yards. So quite a bit of reading for me there. Then Flying Pig Games Platoon Commander Deluxe, The Battle of Kursk. Got some good photos in here. Again, got several pages there on what, I guess, giving you a nice overview of the game. For us older grognards, the 1-inch counters are wonderfully large and uncluttered. Yeah, I think these are some great counters as far as war games go. I wish we had a nice little close-up picture of one, but yeah, they're great. They really are. Good thickness. They're easy to handle. I thought they turned out really, really well. Alone into the Inferno, solo Stalingrad games. So there was, Pavlov's House, Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga. Both are designed for solo play, but with a little modification, the rules can be played 2 or multiplayer. I like block games. I know some people don't like block games. I actually really like block games. I think they're great. Yeah, so I almost did the Kickstarter on this, but there's so many Kickstarters that it's really hard for me to get all of them. So this was one I did pass on. And then I kick myself later because I'm like, wow, I should have got in on that. Same with like Pavlov's House. I've heard a lot of good things about that one too. Yeah, it looks great. I think graphically that looks really, really good. That looks like a really fun game. And what we got here, we ain't fooling around. Look at Hollandspiel's Horse and Musket series. Yeah, I've always wanted to get some Hollandspiel's games. But again, so many games, so little time. So I really like that I can come in here, read a little bit about them, see what it's all about. And they look pretty good too. I like some of the artwork on here. It's very nice. I like the infantry, cross rifles, crossed cannons for artillery, cross swords for cavalry. I think I like that actually. A very nice compromise, I think, between like, NATO symbols and then maybe having like a full artwork of horses and things like that. So I think that's a great compromise there. Let's see here. Almost, I was going to say, these look like pictures out of Vassal. So it looks like they got Vassal modules. That's very good too. Looks like they got some terrain pieces you can pop out. Yeah, those look nice. Horse and Musket series is a lot of fun with its ease of play. Good, that's always good. Yeah, they look really nice. What a long, strange trip it's been. Yeah, I remember this came on Kickstarter. I really thought again about getting into that, but again, I've already got role-playing games, and there's so many. Plus, they even have, they got the Fantasy Trip, which I guess was like his first fantasy game, Steve Jackson, and then he's got, gosh. Now the name escapes me, but he's already got a role-playing system out there. GURPS. That's generic. This apparently is, fantasy. So I just find that very interesting that, you go back to it all, and I think this was like one of his first designs. And here it is again. So, a lot to it. Oh, this is the, 1066. Yeah, man, art on that looks sharp. That is a good looking game. Yeah, combination, you got blocks. Alright. You Sank My Battleship. A review of General Quarters 3. Oh, by Eddie Carlson. Why does that name sound... Oh, that was me. Oh, here's my article. Alright, got some pictures. Yes, if you've watched my other YouTubes, you probably... Well, I haven't done very little gaming of General Quarters 3. It's hard to play and film and do all that solo, but yeah, here I wrote an article about it. Threw in some pictures that maybe help explain things a little bit. Yeah, with my terrible cloth, I tell you, in person, I swear to you, in person it's blue, but in every picture that I take, this sucker is black. Very odd, but that's the way it is. And those miniatures in print, they almost look plastic, but yeah, those are all GHQ pewter minis. So anyway, it looks like I wrote several pages on there. I wrote a lot more than I tell you what, when you write it out like in a Word document and you get that 2,500 to 3,000 words or whatever it is, when you see it in a magazine format, it's like, wow, it's a lot more writing than what I thought I did. And then you never feel like you wrote enough. It's like there's always extra things that you're thinking, you know, I could have wrote about this too. So anyway, got you an article in there to read. If you want to start your own journey into miniature naval gaming, I think this is a great place to start. Yeah, I really do. I think that. Battlefield Ops. Minis, minis, minis. Oh, I've never heard of this one. But you already got minis and you've got cards. Box battles were designed as starter kits for newcomers to the format. Nice. That is definitely one to check out then. Because it looks like it comes with, since it's a starter kit or a box, it says, looks like you're going to get everything you need for NATO, Axis. So that's cool. What it does well. I really like the way this game system models combat based on physical quantities. If you check the math, it works out. Example, the data card for a tow launcher states a maximum range of 75 inches. At 50 meters to the inch, that works out to 3,750 meters, the range stated by most standard references. Good. I also like to play with one miniature per vehicle. This game has the feel of a simulation rather than an abstraction designed to be perfectly balanced or play well. Awesome. Yeah, and I can think of maybe examples where, you know, some people feel like, well, I don't want to comment on other games, but that's cool. He feels like it's a simulation. Let's see here. Games we love. What else do we love? MacArthur's Defeat, The Battle for Luzon. Do we need another bloody shamble? Well, we needed one more. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made a game out of it. Okay, that's a couple pages there for you. Devils to Pay. Yeah, this thing has been really, really popular. We get lots of people comment. The artwork is great. Again, the counters, the map artwork, I think it's Rick Barber. Rick Barber did these maps, and yeah, they turned out really, really good. The pictures, it's nice when you can see it in person. It's really gorgeous, and the counters are really good. So super, super, super good game. Then you've got a scenario here. Renewing, revising a better Knight of Man. I've always enjoyed playing Knight of Man, and I intend to design a sequel this year. Well, since this was 2019 November issue, I'm assuming that's going to have to mean sometime in 2020. So we have to keep on mark about that. As those of you who haven't played Knight of Man know, the cards are the stars. Unfortunately, each time I play the game with a newbie, the same handful of cards draws questions. I decided to answer those questions. So there's first fire, critical hit, aim shot. Cool. All right. Nice. I'm going to save that for you to purchase and find out what he had in mind. Ooh. In the way. Then we have a scenario for 65. Awesome. And that's based, let's see, is it on the Way map? Yep. It's going to be on the Way City map. Great. Dark War Skirmish. Now, I tell you, a lot of people don't know much about the Dark War Skirmish role-playing game, because it is a role-playing game and it has a very strong skirmish component for miniatures, and it's actually really, really fun. When we did Origins last year, we had a couple videos where we sat around a table and we're kind of role-playing, and I'm a terrible role-player apparently, but we had all said, we were like, man, we should do this remotely, you know, webcams and things, and put out a series, because the mechanics are very, very flexible, and I think it's a very, very good system, especially as a small skirmish game where you want to do like squad versus squad. It's really good, so I'm glad he's got a scenario in here that we can use. Tough nut to crack. Then you got another historical scenario for 65, and I'm glad to see scenarios in here. Those are actually, Knight of Man and 65 are really loved the folks who play those really love them, and it's nice that we can on occasion, you know, get some scenarios out. I know a lot of people are hoping for like more boxed stuff, but I tell you, it's you know, Mark has got a lot on his plate already, so to crack out new boxes all the time is a little tough. Then here we go, Battle Away City. And how many pages are the rules? So we got like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then some pictures there. So the rules don't look like maybe 10 pages or so. Some of this is explaining what the counters are. Yeah, this would be real easy. And I bet you if I read through this, obviously it's going to have a lot of similarities to Battle for Ramadi, but I bet you this is probably going to be written, you know, because every time they write rules, they clarify, update things. So I'm actually very excited to get into here. Because Battle for Ramadi, it was actually written well. I don't think I had any problems playing it, but there were a few things that I had to kind of, you know, experiment with until I quite understood it. So I'm looking forward to reading these rules because, again, the similarities are going to be there, but I'm really curious to see, like, if I could apply the rules to Ramadi. You know what I mean? Like the things I wasn't sure on. Obviously, Ramadi's got some special things specific to that, and this is going to have specific things specific to the NVA, whereas the ISIL units in Ramadi had very specific rules to them. But I'm betting you that basic phases of play and whatnot will probably fit in just fine. So I'm not saying it's been rewritten, but I'm looking forward to rereading the rules and seeing if that helps my understanding for Ramadi better. Let's see here. Then it's got the historical notes and tactical picture. Let's see, what is victory? Then the designer notes. So why the battle? Is this a straight port? Well, see, that's what I'm going to read, and that's in my mind is what I was thinking. Is this a straight port of the Ramadi game? Who does the player represent? What's in a name? NVA order of battle. So, looking forward to that. And then there's a bibliography to read on. Yeah. So why? Why way? Okay. Well, I'm going to read the notes. Then the explosion in professional wargaming. I tried to pull a page out already. Dang it. Sorry, Peter. Your page might get lost first. Ah, man. Sorry. Law resistance. Well, that's an advert in here. Oh, you know, yeah, I think I've just tugged on that one page pretty hard. This is coming to Kickstarter before the long road, so keep an eye on that. Had wanted a January launch for this Kickstarter, but probably be closer to later. I don't have a date on that yet. But this is a card and dice game. I did a couple videos on it, doing some like solo play and whatnot. It really is designed for like three people would be best. Like I think 3 to 6 people. I think you're gonna have a much more. Anyway, it's a really fun game. I know there's a lot of people that aren't into cards and dice, and you know I've had people ask, well, why are you doing that? Shouldn't it be a war game that you're doing? Well, you know, as a game company, we like to make all kinds of games, and if you like card and dice games, and I think you'll really like this one. So I'm glad we got an advertisement in that. And then your player aid chart for Way, which isn't much, so that's good. Again, not a lot of overwhelming information there to track. Simple to pick up. Here's the map. I think this map looks pretty good too. It's not too shabby. This is like an 11 by 17, and let's see how many player aids we have. So we've got one. Yeah, your onboard assets available, units available, offboard assets, victory point tracker, game turn. Yeah, again, pretty much like Ramadi. You've got. I didn't count how many counters. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35, 70. So about 80 counters or so. 70. About 70. Well, let's see. What is that? 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. So about 85 counters. There's a few here that aren't used, or that I don't think those are going to be used. But you got some control markers there. Yeah, because as you advance into the city and you take control, right, you can mark areas of control, and then all the places that aren't in your control or you gotta try and maintain control, or you'll lose them. Yeah, the counters come out really good. They're pre-rounded, and I like the fact that they're connected by one nub on the side here. I love that because, well, one, I don't think I'm going to run these through my corner clipper just because they're already kind of pre-rounded. But what I like is on some games, when you get the pre-rounded corners and the counters, they leave the nub on all four sides. The idea of my corner clipping is I like to get the nubs off of the corners. But in essence of that, you know, some folks are like, oh, hey, our counters are pre-rounded, but then they're connected on all the sides. And it's like, well, that defeats the purpose of getting rid of the nubs, and it's really hard to get rid of nubs on a square counter when you put them on the sides. So there's only one nub for you to worry about. And the counters look good. Artwork looks good. You can clearly see what they are. You know, local VC, rifleman, perfect. Yeah, looks good. And you got your Marines. Again, looks good. I like them. And that makes me want to play Ramadi again. But game turn. Yeah, you got some vehicles here. Yeah, the Ontos. I don't know how you pronounce that properly. Oh, this one's connected on two sides. Dang it. Oh, man. Some of these were connected on one side, and some of these are on two sides. Okay, that looks barely connected on two. Oh, well. Yeah, I can't have it all. There you go. There's your vehicles. E8 gas. Oh, all right. Army artillery. Airstrike. There we go. Those have got to be off-board assets. Yeah, the counters are pretty good quality, actually. These are a little thicker than our, well, I shouldn't say, I don't know what the average thickness is of the magazine games, but they do feel pretty good for a magazine. Yeah, and I'll say that. I know sometimes people ask, like, why is the quality different than, like, the boxed games? Well, the idea is it's really hard to make the exact same board game quality pieces that go in the magazine because you're trying to keep the cost of the magazine down to where you can cover the cost of the game that you include, which is why the boards aren't mounted and stuff like that. But these are actually pretty good considering that. But that's why these aren't going to be, like, you know, super thick. But they're really good size, though. And like I said, the artwork on them is good, and they're printed good, and they're centered. I don't see any, you know, off-centered ones. So yeah, good counters, good game. Now here is a deck of cards for Knight of Man, which they might match up kind of, because he said he was revisiting some things and those rules might be clarified, and here's some cards that can go in. I'll have to I haven't read the article yet to know if these are to replace what you have. That's a really good plastic, or if these are going to be in addition to. So I'll find that out here in just a second for you, but this is the last thing that we'll look at. So here are the included cards for your Knight of Man game. So they are the first fire, an aim shot, fast move. So you got some aimed shots, some first fire. Okay, a glancing shot, critical hit. All right, so let's check that out real fast. Let me look to see if these are replacements or if these are going to be in addition to. Because now I want to know. These cards, let's see, by redoing 9 of the game's cards and redefining 3 actions. The cards are included in this issue of Yaah, so it looks like they're replacements. So first fire, this used to be a vehicle thing. No more. Now leg units can also join in on the fun. Critical hit. Again, the original design reserved this support action for vehicles. Not now. If you are targeting a leg unit, you get to redraw 1 card. Hopefully you'll have sense to redraw the card that misses. Aimed shot. Again, this was a card initially intended to be used against vehicles. Now you can use it against leg units. It lets you ignore the terrain that the leg unit occupies. Oh, I'll tell you what then. So I will be very happy to put these into my... Oh man, now I want to play some Knight of Man. Yeah, so many games to play. Yeah, well, someone asked if I would do, well, someone asked if I was going to do this. So Battle Hawaii. Yes, I am going to. I got to reread the rules, make sure I'm up to snuff. do 1 or 2 solo by myself, and then I'll definitely be putting this out on camera. Then, because we've got new cards for Knight of Man, I definitely want to get a Knight of Man game in there, just to throw them in and see how they work, you know. Versus vehicles, +2 to the firing unit's targeting modifier. Versus leg, ignore terrain. Sweet. Yeah, there's background noise, sorry. So yeah, these look really good. And that is what comes in issue 13, along with me just chit-chatting about stuff in general. So thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said, I don't know when I can sit back down and dive back into some gameplay and whatnot. But, you know, you'll get a... Well, I don't even know if you get notifications or if you do a bell thing, but yeah, just peek in on the channel every once in a while and you will see some new content. Hopefully once I get past this evening shift routine, it'll go back to more regular content for you, because I got a lot of games to keep playing. Alright, talk to y'all later. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Bye.